Hello all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and today we have got the long-awaited bets. So we've got two realms to go through. I've got both realms up, my account in 307 as well as my account in 916. So I'm going to have a lot more clarity on the realm of Horus at the front of the pack here than I am on the back. However, just using some of the tips that I'm going to tell you in this video, you can kind of pick and choose with some relative ease on who's going to win. Hopefully, there's obviously the dark horse here and there, things like that. But we're going to jump right in. We're going to do the Eye for Talent here. Then I'm also going to show you the league bets themselves. And really, what it boils down to is when you're going over to the Allure of Gold to get your Auric coins to spend for your bets, you want to make sure you get your weekly stuff done for sure. I'm going to show you some tips on what to do to get your 50 courier station points if you haven't gotten that done. And then also, again, you got to log in. So that's a thing. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's do the Eye for Talent. What's making me choose this is a couple different things. One, William is a huge deal. William is a huge deal. Now, we just got William 2 weeks ago on the Wheel of Fortune in 307. Eventually, by the time the arc is done, the Osiris League is done, I would like to say the majority of these guys will at least have one wheel done for William. However, maybe not these later ones. Like maybe 411 might get it, maybe. I think they probably should, but maybe 561, that might be a little rough. So I'm not sure if they're going to get William. William's going to be such a big deal, especially early game. And as these weeks go on, right, these guys that have William versus the alliances that don't, it's a huge deal. This is Osiris League. This is not the Invitational. You don't get access to all the commanders. So unless somebody migrated there with William ahead of time, which is probably unlikely based on the KVK schedules, there's going to be a very, very low amount of Williams on these alliances down here in the 370s, the 390s, the 400s, and certainly in 561 with Navi. They're not going to have William. And if they go up against alliances that have William, they're going to have a little bit of a downside. They're going to have to overcome that because William is such a huge deal in the open field, especially in the middle when you're fighting for the arc. So it's not that it can't be overcome. It's just an obstacle. Now, when we've got alliances like HKL sitting here in K30, they've got William, had William, maxed William, about to get Herald. They've got everything they need and then some. They may even have Herald and Zenobia, which are going to be amazing garrison commanders based on the leaks that are out there. This is also another thing to think about when you're starting to choose who's going to win the entire realm. Now, I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that anybody has kind of come up with the solution for HKL. I've seen HKL fight. They didn't fight much in KVK because they are an ARC team. Like, that's their thing. They're an ARC kingdom. They didn't want to lose too many troops from what I saw, so they just kind of hands-offed the KVK situation. So I would just, again, my gut tells me that HKL is going to be the winners. They haven't really gone up against anybody that's threatened their title yet, obviously being the qualifier rounds, but I'm going to put like 16. I got to put like 16 points into here. I got to. I mean, and you want to do it early because you have the multiplier by 16 as well. So as you go along every week, you start betting on something different. You're going to get less value for your coins that you're putting in, and obviously if you spent everything like I did on HKL here just a second ago, you're not going to have many points to go into anyway. So the other ones that really kind of intrigue me, C9N, I've seen them step up their game quite a bit. JWM is JWM, and I'm not sure if they've gotten any better. In fact, I think they've lost a few players, so maybe that would be a bad thing. OV, of course, continues to do their thing. And there's some people that are out of this this playoff that I was expecting to be here as well. So the field has gotten... there's a lot of different alliances in this field. So Snow and 1008, both from Kingdom 177, they just went through a very harsh KVK. I can tell you that for a fact. Rose is one that I think may be a really good one to maybe put a coin or two on. In fact, I think that's where I'm going to put my other 2 coins at. One ABG is going to do well, but I'm just personally being inside of it. I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're going to win. I think we're gonna have some good fights and we're gonna go deep, but I don't think we're gonna win. So I'll save you the trouble on that one. No offense to my guys in 307, you all are awesome, but I don't think we're there yet. I'm just being honest. Objective. That's what this channel is for. It's objective. So 341, same thing. Just went through a very harsh KVK. Again, I can vouch for that personally. BBTH is looking pretty good too. That's another one that may be one you want to go ahead and put a coin or two into just to see if maybe you get lucky with those coins. And then of course 411K is also one that is very, very solid, and they have only gotten better too, and they did really well in ARC and KVK. So not only are they an ARC Osiris League kingdom, but KVK is a big deal for them too. I love it. I love those kinds of kingdoms. They got 2 alliances in Osiris League playoffs, 411S and 411K. It's very good. That's very, very good. And you can just kind of look and see who they've beaten. OV2, who was a playoff team last year, I believe. They got beat pretty harshly there. And then over here on the other side, these are a little closer. 166 was also, I think, a playoff team, or a top 32 team, I should say. And then Z415, not anything to sneeze at. Z415 was a solid team as well. So both of these teams have, in their own right, possibility of going pretty far in the playoffs. So I've only got 2 coins left. What I'll probably do is just save them, because you're going to get some more coins as you go along through the weeks. The weekly events for the Osiris League system here gives you 4 coins a week. So that's something to keep in mind as you're putting more and more coins into things. I'll likely put them on a times 12 and maybe grab a couple in Rose, a couple in BBTH, and a couple in the 411K stuff. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. This is for Realm of Horus. Now, league bets, really quickly. Again, the general rule of thumb that we look for here. We look for really solid teams that are underdogs. So if you're looking to maximize your coins, you don't bet on the overdog. So for instance, this first one right here, 0096, who I'm sure is very good. They've fought some decent teams. To be honest with you, I can't really even say that. I don't know who these are, but they fought and won. PTAL, I know some of the players in PTAL, and I know they just put a curb stomp on Slap, who we also just jumped out of Kingsland and KVK for 307. So these guys aren't doing so well, but I think ultimately when you're looking at the powers here, 3.5 million to 3 million power, this is just, verification rewards are the worst. The power, right? Whoops. The power is really relative after you get into about 2.5 million power, billion power. So when we're talking about who to bet on, really once you get over that 2.5 billion threshold, you're going to have enough troops to do what you need to do. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to put some points on here. So the 300 Spartans here, I'm going to put some coins. I am going to put, just because of the prize pool and the fact that it's such an underdog here, I'm going to put 200, or as close to it. Yeah, there we go, 200. That's my bet. And that also gave me some more Auric coins because it's the weekly bet here. And then I just need to earn a few more Auric coins, which I can do. I've got another day to get the other ones. But you want to look at the prize pool, and then you want to look at your odds. So if you're betting on the underdog and the prize pool is a decent amount, you will get a good chunk of these coins back. This is a 5-to-1 ratio, so I would get 1,000 coins if I win. So that's very, very good. You should be starting at around 12 to 1,400 coins. I've only got about 800 to 1,000 because I've been spread across so many accounts this week and playing 2 KVKs at the same time. It's been a little hard to keep up. Same thing here, 4 to 13. So you're looking at about a 3-to-1 odds here. That's not bad. And honestly, UCS is vulnerable, especially to a 411S alliance here, who looks like they are definitely have already played some big boys here and won. I don't know any of these guys here that UCS has played. I know that they've done some recruiting lately, so that's a thing. And I think that if you're going to bet, 411S is a very good bet to put your coins on. Let's keep going, and I may put something in there just to kind of throw a little coins in the ring there. But I'm going to keep moving on and show you what else I think. So MCO versus OV. If you're going to do a bet, MCO is the bet, but I don't think that OV is going to lose against MCO. MCO looks like they're strong. They beat 341A, which is very good. Pretty soundly, and they've got the power to do it. And they're in Kingdom 399, so they should be having William coming up here very shortly. However, OV has had William, maxed William, and is about to start getting into Zenobia. So I think I would dodge this one, but if you're going to bet, MCO is the bet. Just from a coins perspective, I think OV is going to win, though. 1 ABG versus 1008. This is probably going to be one of the better actual matchups, and you can tell because the donations here, the bets, there's not very many. There's not very many bets because a lot of people don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. I think both of these teams are pretty evenly matched, so I don't necessarily think that one or the other is going to really curb stomp anybody, and ultimately the prize pool, you're basically going to get back what you put in, and a little bit more on the top is basically what's going to happen. So I wouldn't bet on this one, and I certainly wouldn't want to say one way or another who's going to win, so just stay away from that one. 49F versus C9N. Again, this one's about a 3-to-1, almost 4-to-1 ratio here for your bet if you bet for 49F. However, I think, again, I mentioned it earlier, C9N, I think is going to go to the top maybe 8 or 16 at least. So I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a good bet for you to put some coins on 49F. However, they're strong and they can do it. So and the odds are good. So if you're going to bet, you want to bet on 49F on this one. OUO and Rays, I think, again, you want to stay away from. It's too even. The prize pool's too low. I don't know who's going to win either one of those. I think everybody recognizes OUO from previous Osiris Leagues. Raising Empire is a newer one because they were in the realm of Anubis before, and now they are in the realm of Horus. This is also going to probably be the other prime matchup, Rose versus BBTH. I think BBTH has done a lot of recruiting, especially when it comes to Osiris League, and they did just push out a large player in KVK too. So, I mean, they are also one of those like 411, 307 type of kingdoms where they are heavy into Osiris League and really solid players on the battlefield for KVK. 93 is kind of in that boat too. So, but Rose really made a name for themselves last season in KVK, and then on top of all that, went pretty deep. And BBTH is kind of in the same boat. I think BBTH has done a little bit more recruiting, power recruiting. They weren't this high before. They were in the 3 billion range, and now they're almost 4 billion. So again, once you get to that 3.5 billion mark, it doesn't really matter. It's just troops at that point. And even before that, really, it's just troops. And then it's just a matter of, are you willing to spend the healing speed ups, which is, a thing. But from a betting perspective, look at this. 1.8 to 4. That's almost a 2-to-1 ratio. I may put 100 on Rose just to say I was in the game here. It doesn't want to let me give 100. I know I can type it in, but still, I'll just do 101. All right, so I put 100 on Rose, and that's just because of the betting line, no other reason, and that's really it. Now, I'm surprised that HKL has such low prize pool because, again, usually the people who look at this and don't watch our videos, right, they just bet on the favorite. Like JWM last year, right? That was hilarious, by the way. Excuse me. Everybody bet JWM last season, and didn't go too well for him on the finals there. But so that's something you have to kind of pay attention to when you're looking at the bets, because there's some 25 mil bets up here, like OV. The way people are betting, people are thinking OV might be the way to go, or 0096. Like, that's huge. That's huge. 0096. So, let's see. Let's keep going. SFS versus 495K. Again, this is really even. I think both of these alliances are probably on par with each other. Yeah, right at 3.5 billion from a power perspective. And again, the wins look pretty similar too. NCB is a formidable opponent, and they barely beat them. 93L is one of the prime alliances in 93. They got beat pretty handily too. So maybe SFS is the way to go. I think just based on that card. I'm sorry, 495K is the one based on that card, was what the prize pool is playing out to. I would dodge that one. 92 SK versus 2 TOA. This is a 2-to-1 trade as well if you wanted to go that, but the prize pool is very low. So personally, I wouldn't put a bunch of coins into this if you wanted to bet on this one. It looks pretty similar as well, 3.5 to 3.1. I think people are betting on the power here versus the wins. I don't see it. Like 87 IB is the prime alliance in 287 here. Real, I recognize. I don't recognize any of these on the right side here, so I'm just going to stay away from that one. Lig versus TT. Lig is the favorite. I think people understand 401 is pretty a solid set of alliances there, and Lig being one of the primary ones. They made it to the playoffs, so that's very good. I don't see any premier wins over here or on this side, so I think this one's going to be probably an even-ish type matchup, maybe with a little bit of favorite towards Lig, which is why the prize pool looks like it does. But that's a 2-to-1 odd as well, so if you wanted to bet, I would put it on TT just because of the prize pool. Now, 1341 versus HKL. This is probably one of your better ones as well. 2.5 million versus almost 10 million. That's basically 4-to-1 trade. I don't, however, view HKL as ever losing this Osiris League, so I'm going to steer clear of this, but if you are going to do a bet, 4-to-1 is a good odds with a good prize pool. 341 might be the way to go. TN versus SX54. This is Kingdom 401 versus 254. This is the only alliance that made it through from 254, which is a little bit of a surprise. But they haven't really beat anybody substantial over here. Go GT is a name, but again, don't tend to go very, very, very far into the playoffs for TN. So I think this one's going to be a relatively even matchup as well. And I think that ultimately you're going to be able to see some of the players that were in the other 254 alliances inside of the SX54 alliance because of the waiting period that you have in between the playoffs. JWM versus TZA. I've never heard of TZA. They're in Kingdom 497, and I don't necessarily see any premier wins here, and it looks like they almost didn't make it in with 87 GV being their last opponent, whereas again, we know JWM has just been crushing everything up until usually the round of 4 is when they start actually getting tested a little bit. I think this is going to be an easy win for JWM, and that's also why the prize pool is at 16.5 versus only 400,000. If you're going to put a little bit on, you know what? I'm going to put 50 just cuz, you know, who knows? Who knows what happens if, you know, JWM tanks or their servers go down, who knows? Who knows what happens? So I'm going to put a little bit on there just in case. Navi versus Eve, this is a pretty even prize pool, same thing. I'm going to stay away from this one. I think ultimately this is probably a relatively even matchup, and that's what it's kind of looking like here. They did beat, Evil Empire did beat Smash Squad, Chiscool's Kingdom there, and 411L, which is one of the other 411 alliances. So they are a little more tested, I think, than Navi, but Navi is the veteran alliance. They've been around, but again, remember what I said earlier, 561. They don't necessarily have access to William and things like that. I think Eve might actually be the play here. And in fact, it's not a great prize pool or a great ratio, but I am going to put some coins on Eve just because it's a great kind of combination of everything. I've seen what Eve can do. They're very solid, and they've already beaten some really good teams. So I think that because they're the underdog and they're going up against a team that doesn't have William yet, I think that's a combination for a win for Eve. 411K versus MTO. Again, this is going to be one of those things, right? 411K is obviously going to be one of the favorites because of their success last season and in the Invitational as well. MTO are relatively unknown for me, at least. Kingdom 142. I do recognize the name, but I don't recognize the team itself. But nothing really being tested here from what I could tell. Northern Crown actually is a good test. They did beat them, and Northern Crown's a pretty good team. But beating OV2 and FCN, 411K, pretty soundly. I think obviously 411K is going to win here, but this is a 6-to-1 ratio. I'm gonna go ahead and put 50 on MTO just because of the odds, but I don't think that MTO is going to win. And then finally, Snow versus TTF. This is basically an even matchup on the betting side. It's 3 billion versus 3 billion. P245 got beat by TTF, so that's a thing. 93P is one of the better alliances in 93, and FN. Snow is definitely nobody to be trifled with on the Osiris League, so this is definitely a good one as well. We're definitely going to have to break up these videos. I'm going to do just the Realm of Horus on this video, and then I'll do a Realm of Anubis video right behind this one. I'll make them 2 separate videos. I don't want to make this a 40-minute video. But I want you guys to know what I'm doing, because a lot of people have been asking me, because I have had really good success with betting on the realms. I've pretty much nailed almost all of the wins for the last couple seasons, because I know some of these teams. But I think you should get the information and not have to wait an hour for it. So these are my bets right here, and let me go ahead and augment some of these bets with some extra coins, because I've got 478, almost 500. Definitely not going to do with TZA. Eve might be my play here, or PTAL. PTAL's the biggest reward, but I just don't know enough about 0096. I just don't know enough about 0096. I might reach out to MKiz and make sure that his strategy's solid. But I'm going to bet it all on PTAL. Here we go. Buckle up. It's done. I know some of these players, so and they beat Slap, they beat N3X. Those are both pretty solid alliances, although the N3X one was a little close for comfort. I like the odds. I probably burned coins that I shouldn't have, but I think that's a really good bet. The Rose bet is also really good, I think. BBTH is very good. This could go either way, but Rose is very good as well. They have a chance to win, and the odds are solid. So if you're going to put coins in, I think PTAL's good, Rose is good, and then TZA just for the teaser, and Eve as well, I think is a really good one for an upset because of the availability of volume, and also the fact that they're a very solid alliance, very similar to my thought process behind Rose there as well. So 411S is also a really good one too if you want to throw that in there. I probably should have put some coins on 411S. Not gonna lie. All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm gonna make the Anubis version of this video in just a little bit, and I'll post that one as well separately, so you guys have 2 videos to watch, and you can kind of keep the things separated out and go from there. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. Take care.